Everybody, and welcome to the meeting. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded. We ask that you please rename your Zoom name to your full name and the organization you're with. And if you are a resident, you can put the letter R. For roll call, I'm just going to go down the list as it appears on my screen. And when I call on your name, if you could please unmute yourself and say which organization you're with. And then at the end, I will be introducing those on the call from the Port of Stockton. So first up, we have Mary Elizabeth.
Mary Elizabeth, I'm a resident and conservation chair for the Delta Sierra group of the Sierra Club.
Thank you. Hi. And next up we have Chuck.
Chuck DeYoung with H.J. Baker.
Welcome, Chuck.
Thank you.
And then we have Michael.
Michael Johnson with Metro Ports.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. And then we have Hector.
Hey, Hector Olivares from Catholic Charities.
Hi, Hector. Welcome. And Gloria.
Good afternoon, everyone. Gloria Alonso with Little Manila Rising.
Welcome, Gloria. And Isabel.
Hi, everyone. Isabel Dorschlag with Anchor QEA.
Welcome. And Jasmine.
Hi, everyone. Jasmine Peterson with Little Manila Rising.
Welcome, Jasmine. And Maureen.
Maureen VA with Anchor QEA.
Welcome, Maureen. And Megan.
Hi, everyone. Megan Wurzberger with the Edible Spirit Stockton.
Thank you, Megan. And Nicole.
Nicole Daly with Rojas Public Affairs.
Thank you. And Stephanie.
Hi, everyone. Stephanie Ng, and I'm the Director of Community Strategies and Resources at the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District.
Thank you. Welcome. And Tanisha.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tanisha with the Catholic Charities.
Welcome. Thank you. And then Esther.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Estamboro with Restore the Delta.
Thank you. Hi, Esther. And then from the port, we have our Commission Chair, David Atwater, Commissioner Margaret Stevens, Jeff Wingfield, Deputy Port Director of Regulatory and Public Affairs. We have Victoria Lucero, our Public Relations Coordinator, Karen Romero, our Environmental Coordinator, Daniel Orozco, our Grants Management Specialist, and Sylvester, our Real Estate Manager, and myself, Julia Olm. So thank you so much. And for everyone, I don't think I missed anybody. So, okay, I will turn it back on over to you, Jeff.
Great, thank you, and thanks everybody for being here. And sorry, I know that we do the roll call every time, and it probably seems a little monotonous. But for people that are just joining, maybe for the first time, or aren't regular folks, that we appreciate just going through that and letting folks know who you're here with and representing. So we got a really good meeting today. We've got. I did want to introduce. You probably noticed Nicole from Rojas is here. They are new to us and are getting to know us a little bit. They're going to help us with our public relations strategy. And so wanted to introduce them to folks here, and then they're going to give a little presentation later on. We also have Edible Schoolyard going to give an update. We have our standard port updates. And then we'll also be having a presentation on the South Ditch Wetlands Restoration Project. And I think that is it. So is there anything I'm missing, Julia?
No, that was perfect.
All right, we can go into port updates. So we've had a lot of tours lately, some big, some small, but they've all been really impactful. Being able to bring out some of the folks from the Bogstrack Community Center has been helpful, just to get to know them a little bit more, as well as for them to see what the port looks like and what we're doing just down the street from them. So that was great. We also had some folks from the Edible Schoolyard come out, and then we had the California Economics Summit, much bigger group of about 50 that came out in later part of October, and they were on a much bigger tour. after they got done with the port, they went over with Restore the Delta and looked at some restoration projects in Mormon Slough, as well as the Delta. And then the last stop on the tour was over at the Green Economy Lab, where we are partnering with Sandy Pabin and their staff there to work on some workforce development opportunities, most particularly on zero emission cargo handling equipment maintenance. So that has been great, and that was a great day to share with all of those people. And it was part of the bigger convention, but it was really impactful. And I've seen already a number of write-ups online of people who are just blogging about their time and about their experience that day on the tours and what stood out to them. And it was really great to be able to share our mission and vision of building out and building up our port with more and more zero emission equipment. So a lot of that was shared in some of the blogs I read. So that was really great. And then we've got our 2025 Adopt a Family. That's a Child Abuse Prevention Council. We do that as a port, and you can adopt certain families as individuals, or a whole port department can support specific families. And so I don't know. Apparently, I heard earlier today, Julia, that we actually have a record number this year.
Yes, so this is the highest number of children that we've been able to adopt so far since the port started. So I believe it's 42, and it could even go up.
That's great. So yeah, it's an awesome opportunity that we get to kind of pay back to the community and offer opportunities to families who maybe are struggling. So that's a great thing, and so we're all excited about doing that. And then also, I know that some of you have already participated, but the Washington Elementary Clothing Drive is extended. We just kind of turned from the warmer weather to the cold, and this is really when the need is the most. So if you do have things that you can donate, if you're cleaning out your closet or the garage or whatever, reach out to us. Don't think that they won't take it, because we go through the stuff and we send some of it to the Washington Elementary, and then anything that they can't use, we typically turn over to the community center, and they have days where they just put out tables and with all the donated items, and so anybody from the community can come by and help themselves to whatever they might be needing. And then also we've got our holiday celebration, which I know some of you attended last year. So I wanted to notify you that it will be on December 6th. You will be getting an invitation probably in the next week, and we hope you can come and celebrate with us. I won't be there, but a lot of the staff will be, and we'll be hoping to see you all and welcome you there as well. Anything that I missed? All right. Let's see. Do we have additional updates, Julia?
No, I think you might have covered it. There were a couple updates that you were going to do, but
okay,
maybe
we
can circle back towards the end.
Yes, no problem. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. And then Megan, did you want to give an update on the edible schoolyard?
Sure. We've had a busy past couple months out on the farm while the weather's still nice. The team today went to Hazelton Elementary for our travel CSA program. So they brought 130 bags of produce, and they are handing them out to the kids after school. We do one of those a month, so today was the day. The families always really appreciate the produce. We had a big volunteer day alongside Stockton Service Corps, which was our first partnership with them, and we're hoping to do more. We had around, I believe it was like 65 volunteers on the farm. And it was the day after Halloween, so it was a really good turnout. We were able to do a bunch of stuff out there. We got all our starts put in for the winter. Um, Little Manila was out there, their urban forestry team, and they planted 6 new trees on the farm. So that was a super successful, really fun day. We got a lot done. Um, this past October, we had our fall festival on the block, partnered with public health advocates, and that was another really fun day. We had close to 500 people out there. Um, and we had lots of fun activities, cooking demos. We had 4 new organizations that had never been to any of our events come table, which was really, really exciting. We had a kitchen supply and a winter coat exchange, and that went really well. Um, Public Health Advocates was able to secure funding to donate 300 plates of food from our caterer. So 300 families got a free plate of food, which was really, really awesome. Um, and our team got to tour the port, which was super cool. Thanks again, Jeff and Julia, for that. I know I learned a lot. I've been telling people all the fun facts that we learned that day. So I really, really appreciate that. Um, and we actually just decided on our festival dates for this next year. So stay tuned. We'll probably announce them on our social medias and on our website pretty soon. So if you'd like to come check out the farm, those are going to be great opportunities. Cool.
Yeah, you guys are doing great stuff. And I got to come over for the last festival, and it was
You did.
great. It was great.
Aw.
I was checking out, the kids were having a great time. The food was really good. It was just it's always a great vibe out there. You really are. And so yeah, we'll continue to push and try to get more and more people to come.
Thanks so much. I'm so glad you made it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate that, Megan. Then we are going to, oh, sorry, the 3 things that I missed. One of the things we're working on pretty substantially here is the port we've had some subsidence of some of our berths. And so a big chunk of our staff is working on securing and making sure the areas near the berths are not failing. And so that's if you're out here, you see things going on. That's a lot of what's happening is a lot of construction on just stabilizing the slopes underneath some of our berths, because this is a 70-year-old facility on this side. So that's one of the things we're working on. Also, we've been asked to join the Golden Mussel Task Force that's being developed through the Board of Supervisors. So we're going to try to bring some additional resources and technical abilities to that group. And then we also made 2 new key hires. We hired a risk manager. His name is Nathan Birtwhistle. We'll bring him out and introduce you to him in the not too distant future, as well as a new chief of police. So we look forward to that. We'll miss our old police chief, but we're excited for a new start. And then the only other thing is, we're going to do this presentation now.
Yes, Maureen, are you able to share your screen?
Isabel is actually going to share her screen.
Great. And then also we did have a few other people join. We had Rhonda Nelson, our Director of Real Estate and Port Development, join. We had Esperanza Viema with the Mayor's Office join. And then I also believe we have Joe Carrillo with SSA on the line. I believe that's you, Joe, on the cell phone, 420. So welcome, everybody.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so the last meeting we started a new little series, I guess, called The Coolest Thing I Saw at the Port Today. And one of the things was the South Ditch stormwater enhancement. That this was a project, a grant-related project we did a few years ago. We did it kind of as a little test pilot, and So we just came back and revisited it not too long ago, and it's thriving. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. We're excited to talk to you about it today. We're hoping, that the impact it has here at the port is to be a natural filter for pollutants. So mainly metals. So that's what we're trying to get out. So through the design and implementation, a lot of the plants will uptake some of the metals and clean our stormwater for us. So that is what we set out to do. When we first started, we were thinking of doing a much larger section of the South Ditch. We decided to go with a smaller section to just test this out to see how it worked and see if the plants took and everything. And from what we can see, this has been an awesome opportunity and something that we'll probably grow and build on. And something, actually, this was a state grant, so I'm sure they're going to be very excited to see these results as well. So the purpose of this presentation is really to discuss how this came about, and then how it contributes to stormwater treatment. We'll show you kind of the location, the history, and the configuration of the stormwater system for context, so you can see kind of how our overall system flows, and then the stormwater monitoring efforts to date with key takeaways. So next slide. So you can kind of see, so all the stormwater on the East Complex flows from north to south, and it all flows into what we call is the South Ditch at the southern end of the port property. So probably 95% of the stormwater that's coming down on the East Complex flows to the south, flows into the South Ditch. So this project site is perfectly set up to impact and enhance all stormwater for the most part on the East Complex. So almost everything goes through here, then it goes down further goes through this wetland, and then down probably a couple hundred more yards, and then it goes into our retention pond. You can see here, and Anchor, you guys feel free to jump in anytime with any additional information you may want to share. So this is the only part of the eastern South Ditch that is not lined by concrete. We planted this area to serve as habitat, and also, obviously for treating our stormwater. But when we visited, we saw birds, and this is great habitat for invertebrates, amphibians, and it also could potentially make a really nice area for our staff to walk in the future.
And Jeff, in the chat, Gloria is asking if this is a section that folks can tour in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we haven't. And Hector is asking, is it concrete lined? No, this one is not. We removed the concrete lining. You will see in the next slide kind of what it looked like previous. So yeah, you'll get an idea. And Gloria, honestly, it wasn't really on our radar that much. Showing a stormwater ditch isn't typically one of the highlights, but after we saw how well these plants have come in and just the overall habitat that this has created, we definitely are going to make it a highlight on our tour. How about Anchor? You want to take this slide? Either
Sure.
Maureen, or go ahead.
I can jump in.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. So I do landscape design for Anchor QEA. I did not work on this project, but I'm relatively familiar now, and it's pretty awesome. So just to give you some quick project background, the objectives of the design were really to both use soil and plants to help treat stormwater runoff, as Jeff was saying, and then create native habitat and promote groundwater recharge. So the focus of this project presentation obviously is the kind of emphasis on native habitat and stormwater runoff. The final design plans were completed in 2020 and construction completed at the end of 2021. And then the vegetation was fully established mid-2023, and that's just based on Google Earth imagery. So we can go to the next slide, which shows you the conditions pre-project. And Jeff, you can feel free to hop in here.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is what it looked like previously. Obviously, it's a huge change. So there's a few different, and you can see here there's a check dam that we installed. So we have also installed those periodically throughout the southern South Ditch. And that is to get stormwater to slow down, and a lot of the load drops out, and then you get cleaner runoff. So, and previous to the rail on the right, this also used to be a auto recycler. The soil was quite unstable. That was a tenant that we asked to vacate the premises. I think it was late 2008, 9. And so we've really been able to turn this area into something pretty special. So this is what the rest of the South Ditch pretty much looks like. Non-native grasses, ruderal shrubs, isolated stands of saplings or small-sized trees, just basically a mirage of invasive species is pretty much what. And the channel is about 25 feet wide and 9 to 11 feet deep through most of its length.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one more thing to note too is the entire South Ditch is about half a mile, and this project is, I think, around 400 feet. So it's not that big in context to the overall channel, which looks like this. So
yeah,
we'll continue to the next slide.
Go ahead, Isabel.
Okay. So this is just the final grading plan, and we put this in here just to highlight the different planting zones. Also just showing how we're using this design to maximize biodiversity. So you have wetlands, which are really fostering aquatic vegetation, and then the forebay. So if you can imagine, water's entering from the east side, or the upstream side is to the east on this plan. It comes into the forebay, and that forebay acts as a sedimentation zone, so heavier particles can sit. And then water continues down into the wetlands and then out into the outlet, which controls the water level. So it's making sure that those planting zones never experience more water, and so that habitat can remain healthy. And once again, just maximizing biodiversity.
All right. So this was a photo that was just taken the other day. So it really highlights the success of this. I mean, I hadn't really paid much attention to it, and then when I walked up there, I think it was last month, I was just blown away by how great it was. I mean, just really abundant, healthy native vegetation. You've got, trees. You got Fremont's cottonwood, red willow, Gooding's willow, sycamores, and coyote brush. It's perfect for what a wetland should look like. Next slide. So this shows you kind of after the stormwater exit the project site. It goes into our existing treatment system, which consists of that ditch and then a stormwater basin. And then from there, after water settles for potentially months at a time, or there's times where we don't even discharge the East Complex Retention Basin. Next slide.
Yeah, one more important thing to note here too that plays into just stormwater monitoring and how we're monitoring the project site is that overland flow area for the retention basin was only added in 2024. So that also is a method for increasing filtration and removing contaminants.
Yeah.
I'll move to the next slide.
Go ahead.
So, okay. So this is just to introduce like where these stormwater samples are being taken from. So there's 2 points, the retention basin inlet, which is that green orb that you see on the screen, and then the 2 yellow orbs are the retention basin discharge points. So that's where water is leaving the Eastern Complex Retention Basin and going into the San Joaquin River. There's 2 points because, like I said, prior to 2024, 2025, water was exiting the Eastern Complex Retention Basin directly into the San Joaquin River versus now the way that the stormwater system works. It goes into that overland flow area and then eventually is pumped into the San Joaquin River. And this is kind of the foundation for the data that we were able to show in this presentation, to kind of get an idea of what the decrease in contaminants was pre and post project. So an important note too is we don't actually have targeted monitoring to assess the success of this wetland project. But we do have, like I said, samples that are taken up to 3 times per year is the average from the retention basin discharge points. So those yellow points that show pre-project peak, which is before 2023, where vegetation was fully established, and post-project, which is 2023. So that's what you're going to see in the next slide. And Jeff, do you want me to talk on
go
this
ahead.
one? Okay, cool. So this is just showing, once again, heavy metals. So you can see copper is on the left, zinc is on the right. Pre-project establishment, also on the left of both of these histograms. So before 2023, you can clearly see there's substantially more metals than after. I can't speak to specific stormwater monitoring data, but this is just a visual aid to help you see that contaminants are indeed going down post-project establishment.
Yeah, we don't specifically have samples locations upstream and directly upstream and directly downstream of the wetland, but that may be something that we're going to try to grab in the near future.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that kind of directly goes into key takeaways and next steps. So copper and zinc levels decrease like we saw in the previous slide. And then, as Jeff is saying, there's potential to conduct more sampling to assess the effectiveness.
We do have a few comments in the chat. So Mary Elizabeth asked, are there plans to periodically dredge the sediment in the forebay?
Yes, what does maintenance look like, Isabella?
That's a great question. And that's something that we're looking into right now, is kind of creating a effective maintenance program for this area. Because as you can see, like vegetation is very abundant, but maybe to the untrained eye, like there are some invasive species that you can see that are also abundant in here because they also have a great water source and a great habitat. So something that we're looking into.
And then,
go ahead.
Then Gloria asked, after seeing the success of the project, is there interest in expanding?
Yes, 100%. So yeah, we weren't 100% sure how everything was going to do. And yes, after seeing the success of this, we will be looking for further opportunities to expand it. And then Mary Elizabeth, what is the holding time for the Eastern Complex Retention Basin? It depends. It depends on how much rain we're getting. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, if we have a fairly mild winter, we don't ever have to discharge. If we have, a winter like we've seen in 2019 and maybe a few years ago, where we're just inundated, we potentially would have to discharge twice. That's the most we've ever had to. And the holding time really depends on how much input we get. We try to hold for as long as possible so that it has the most impact and it offers more of that settling time. So we hold it as long as we possibly can. I know that's not an answer, a specific answer, but that's how we manage it. Any other questions?
Do you have any instrumentation on it, or are you just going out there and monitoring flow?
We do not have any instrumentation on it. Are you talking about the retention pond?
Or any part of that system?
The retention pond has a flow meter. Yes, for sure. But no, nowhere else. Nowhere else do we have any flow meters. They really wouldn't do us any good on the south ditch. Anything else? Awesome. Yeah, so we're excited to potentially build on this and maybe try it in a couple other areas of the port too, that you just have these really bland, dry ditches that really have no ecological value. So that is great. We're looking forward to more of that. And as soon as we do some additional sampling upstream and downstream, we'll share that with the group too to show the effectiveness of the wetland. Okay, and as I mentioned, we have a new PR firm, Rojas Public Affairs, and I don't know if Jaime is here, but I know that Nicole is, so I will turn it over to Nicole.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for having me here with you today. We're very excited to be partnering with the Port of Stockton to look at current communication channels, current outreach efforts, and community engagement, really understand how we can come alongside you and improve or increase and expand the storytelling behind the port, right? I think even in just this project we saw, there's just some amazing stories and amazing things happening at the port, but sometimes there's just not enough time to tell it or how best to tell it and how can we reach the greatest audience and ensure people understand just all the investments that are being made in the port to address environmental needs or energy initiatives, and more importantly, even just operations overall. And so it's a pleasure to be here. As mentioned, my name is Nicole Daly. I am the Senior Project Manager for Rojas Public Affairs. Unfortunately, Jaime could not be here. He is our president. But I wanted to tell you today, our goal is really to do a poll with you. It's an engagement tool that's going to allow us to hear from you anonymously and telling us a little bit about your feedback on how the port is doing in communications, areas you would like to see more of, topics you would like to hear more about. And so I just put into the chat my contact information and a link, but I'm going to post in just a moment here a QR code. So that'll probably be easier if you do have your cell phone and want to join us. All employees, contractors, commissioners, everybody's invited to participate. And again, it is anonymous. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you right now and see, hopefully it works as expected. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about us and who we are as a firm. And so as Jeff mentioned, we've been in the business for 10 years and we have, can you all see this? Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, good. And we've been in the business for 10 years. Let me see if I can get back up to this one. Go. Oh, it's not going to let me. Sorry. We've been in the business for 10 years as a public affairs, communications, community engagement firm. Myself, I've worked in the public sector for over 2 decades, working for cities, counties, in special districts. Our firm specializes in special districts, especially smaller ones, meaning not always small in size, but usually in resources or opportunities. And so we really pride ourselves on being able to come along and be an extension to staff and come out from the outside in and say, how can we do things better? How can we come along and support you in your objectives? And unfortunately, I can't get to my objective slide, but it's in there. And our goals really are to understand what communication tools are really being effective and accessible, how the community prioritizes different topics, discover how we can be better in terms of transparency and, again, storytelling, and making sure everybody understands really everything that the port is doing. I'm going to go ahead and get started, but again, go ahead and use that QR code, or you can use the link, and there'll be points where you can jump in and share verbally if you'd prefer. Otherwise, please use this tool for us. We will be doing other efforts in the community to gather feedback. We've come up and toured the port and met with several of the officials. We're always open to do more of that as well. And so that's why I've given you my contact information. If ever you want to reach out to us directly, we want to hear from you. The best way for us to understand is by hearing from the community. And so we're looking forward to your feedback today. We'll go ahead and get started. You should see the first question if you were able to log in. Does anyone have any challenges or concerns so far? Okay, so our first question is, what is the first word that comes to mind when you think of the Port of Stockton? No right or wrong answers either. No pressure, everyone. You can tell, obviously, the bigger words mean more people are saying that. It's coming up more frequently. Looks like we're getting just about everybody. Port question mark. That one's an interesting one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because
So-
that's what people, that's typically the response I get. If I'm not here in Stockton, and sometimes even when I am, people are like, there's a port in Stockton. That doesn't.
Yes, that's a very good point. It's very, very true. And again, that goes back to how do we tell the story? And not just even in the nearby communities, but more broadly as well. I think a lot of people don't understand ports in general, right? And then you start going granular into how many there are. And it was fascinating to me to learn that the port is the fourth largest in the country in terms of size, right, Jeff? Is that
In the
correct?
state, in the state.
In the state. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
In the state. But that's fascinating to me. I think that a lot of people would not know that. In fact, I was just talking to a friend of mine who's a longshoreman in Long Beach, and he goes, I had no idea. I had no idea that the port was that big. And again, it's sharing that information. Jobs, that's really good. Trucks, commerce. Obviously, we know the port is a huge part of the economy in your region and across our state. And so really, really good feedback there. Thank you so much. It looks like we have everybody has come in. So we'll move on to the next question here. What are your top 3 concerns about the port? And so you'll be able to select from the options on your screen there. We have air quality, noise, traffic, goods movement, and truck activity, really all of the things around the port. The water quality in the Delta, we know this comes up for a lot of folks as well. The overall environmental impacts generally, more broadly, if because you can only pick 3. So that gives you a little bit more flexibility. Safety and security risks, the port has its own police department, which helps a lot. I know there's a lot of efforts to ensure the safety of the port, the leadership and its decision-making, communication, community engagement, the tenants, the operations or future development, maybe long-term strategic planning, and then long-term impacts on the surrounding neighborhoods. So again, any of that are your top 3 here in terms of your concerns related to the port. And then we'll show you the results in just a moment, kind of monitoring how many people come in. And this really helps us understand 2 topics that are, again, of interest to the community, but maybe more from, how can be good feedback in terms of programs and opportunities for the port also. The port is working, and I'm sure you've heard about this on a strategic plan. And for me, that's very exciting. Those are so helpful in telling the community who you are, what you want to be when you grow up, and where you're going, right? And it's kind of the roadmap for the future of the port. And I think that's so important for the community to understand. Going back to that idea of port question mark, right? This will help us tell that story of who the port is and what it wants to be, what it's striving to be in the future. I think we have almost everybody in. Go ahead and show you. So air quality, number 1, not surprising based on this group, understanding AB 617. And so we also see here port operations comes pretty high, as well as the overall environmental impact. So thank you very much. All very helpful as we move forward. How familiar are you with the port's operations overall? This would be the day-to-day, the overall port and what it does. Driving through the port, it was really, I think it's encouraging to see how many the port currently does, because I think that's the best way to really start to see all that it encompasses, right? It was fascinating to me to learn that the port is responsible for their electrical lines, their water infrastructure, their sewer infrastructure, as we were just talking about storm drains. I mean, there's so much that goes into the day-to-day operations at the port. I think a lot of people don't realize, number 1, the scale of work associated, but number two, the capital investments that are required. And we all know that the cost is rising for everything. And capital infrastructure improvements are a significant challenge for California as things start to age. And similarly, the port is going to have to look into the future and has to prioritize and seek the funding in terms of what capital projects they tackle first. Looks like we're doing pretty good there. Okay. So no surprise here. I mean, all of you are regularly engaged with the port. So good to see that you feel like you do have a good understanding of the port and what it does. This is my favorite question because this is going to really help us in determining how do you want to hear from the port? In what ways do you think you would get most value? What works for you and your family? How do you learn about things occurring in your community? Do you prefer to hear from the port via their newsletters, which go out regularly already, email notifications, social media, the website? Text messages are rising up. Sometimes they can be annoying though. Some people don't want to fill their text message threads with messages from others. So that's some like it, some don't. I mean, if you ask my kids, they all want to hear from you on social media. Sometimes I have to message them on Instagram. But you know, we also have the news media. You're lucky to have some local publications in your area, and they seem to do a really good job of digging into things that are occurring. Mailers, in-person events, fact sheets and brochures. And we'll have an opportunity for you to share others as well in a more open-ended question. So if there's something that rises up more for you, we welcome your ideas as well. Give you a few more seconds there. And if at any time any of you are struggling or unable to keep up or want me to slow down, please don't hesitate to let me know. Okay, I'll give a couple more seconds. So you can see there, folks really like the newsletters. They're very informative. I know myself, they're well done. Lots of detailed information. Social media becoming more and more popular. See some in-person events rising up as well. Do you follow the Port of Stockton social media pages? We have LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So if you're not following them, this is the plug, right? This is the opportunity to jump on, make sure you're following the port. If you're not aware, and some people don't know, you can favorite them or you can ask to be alerted when information is posted. So there's ways to make sure you don't miss those updates that are coming out through social media on a regular basis. What topics should the port communicate about most? Select up to 3. So these are the things that you think should be top of mind when you're thinking about what the port is sharing with you as community members, right? And whatever that relationship is with the port, we'll have a question at the end that asks you whether you're an employee or you're a nonprofit partner or you are a contractor or a resident or a business. And that'll help us kind of see what the breakdown is today. But sometimes that changes the topics we're interested in, right? Because we have a different relationship with the port. And again, with so much going on, it can be difficult to cover everything. So this helps us understand what do people really care about in the community. And like I said, we'll be working on a poll that can be posted in the newsletter on social media where we can hear from the broader audiences as well. Within the port areas, anyone really following the port, right? And that'll give us some different feedback as well.
Mary Elizabeth, do you have a question?
Yeah, I see your hand.
Yes, thank you so much. You know, we work so hard to get those CEQA notifications, and I hope that, you know, that this is not going to derail that, you know, we're going to continue to get those CEQA notifications when there's an opportunity to review project documents. So
Very
me
helpful.
nervous there for a minute there.
Not listed. So that's a good point.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Mary Elizabeth. I appreciate that because that's, regulatory notifications. It's very important. You're right. And so that's a miss on our part. So thank you for jumping in and sharing that with us. Okay. So port projects, operations, long-term planning, that's all good news because again, strategic plans coming. We're so excited to say, I know the port is so excited to share that with you. And again, I think that really helps everybody to get some buy-in into what's coming and the opportunities that are out there and what the port envisions in the next 5, 10, maybe even 15 or 20 years, right? Environmental initiatives and sustainability, community benefits and economic impacts. Again, the port is a huge generator of jobs, of tax dollars for the county and the city, and they are just a huge support for that region overall. And it's so important that everyone understands what those values are and what they do for the community. Go to the next here. How well does the port communicate? How well do you feel that the port currently communicates? You should just have stars here. 1 star means very poor. 5 stars means very well. This is a quick and easy one. Okay, good breakdown there. Now, these are one of the open-ended questions that we have in here. What is one thing that the port could do to improve its outreach and engagement with the community? And you don't have to answer. If you have something that comes to mind, Mary Elizabeth, we heard you on the CEQA notifications, making sure that's continuing. But any other ideas that came to your mind as we were going through those first few questions, we want to hear from you. And also, I want to offer, if anyone wants to jump in verbally, you're more than welcome to do that as well. I know some people may be more shy to want to jump in, but if that's easier for you, you're welcome to jump in and share your ideas as well. This will take a little bit longer to type. I was hoping they would pop up as you go, but it doesn't look like it's working right now. So I'll show you after it comes through. See some coming in. When we think of outreach engagement too, I think it's really important that this is such a broad term now. It can be anything from press releases, as you saw in terms of the different tools we could use, but social media, it can be banners, it can be advertisements, it can be billboards, it can be website updates, email, text message. I mean, the list goes on, podcasts, streaming services, radio. I mean, there's so many opportunities that exist. You all know your community as well. So when you're looking at this question, if there's anything that comes to your mind that you've seen other agencies do that you really think are valuable, please be sure to share those with us as well. Okay. I think it looks like we have several here that have entered. Maritime and real estate updates, the state of the port events to inform the community, annually or quarterly on site, community advertising, so we see that, monthly calendar, very interesting. Share more about the compliance reporting. I was taking notes on that last project, and it's so good to see data points like that, right? That just show results and value to the investments that are being made. More active on social media, showing the different activities at the port and the equipment. I think it's fascinating when you're there and you see tugboats and what are they doing and what is their role. And some people like me really enjoy that kind of information, but even this little ditch, 400 feet, but it's doing something so valuable for so little of an investment overall, right? And people don't even realize that plants can be filtering out nutrients or metals in water. I worked for the city of Lake Elsinore for 10 years, and we have the largest natural lake in Southern California. And so I managed that lake, the water quality efforts for the lake. And it was always something that I strive to do is help educate people the complexity behind the environmental uniqueness of the lake and how it worked, what the water quality really meant, like what it meant to have too much phosphorus or nitrates. And we had several flood channels where you had plants. And so it's just it's an opportunity to share more in terms of what's actually going on at the port and results wise. Share more good news, positive things, more events. Very helpful. Thank you. Okay, next. How satisfied are you with the frequency of the Port Outreach Committee meetings? So now we're going to transition a little bit into these meetings themselves. Yeah. This is going to tell us a little bit about the meetings themselves. We're always trying to look at how things are going. An important part of any outreach and communications efforts is taking a moment to evaluate what you are doing, what's working, what's not, how to improve it, or doing more of what really is working in the community. And so this gives us some feedback on the committee meetings themselves. Okay. Okay. It's pretty good. So this question builds on that last question, just to go a little bit more granular, depending, we never know what the outlook's going to look like. So how often do you think these meetings should meet? A little bit longer there. Definitely the frequency seems to be popular amongst the group overall. You know, sometimes it's, you know, a month goes by really fast sometimes. So it's always good to check in and see where everybody stands in terms of the schedules. Okay, we'll move on to our next question. How do you feel about the length and structure of the committee meetings? In talking with Jeff and Julia, you know, we talked about the Port Outreach Committee and its purpose and how it was established and why it was established. And so these questions help us identify maybe some topics or opportunities for them as well to make sure that we're maximizing the opportunities with this committee meeting, because this is a chance for you all to share your feedback, but also for the port to be telling that story so that you can go back and tell your family, your friends, your neighbors. And so this is all very helpful. Depends on the agenda. So that's good. Very good. All right. What topics would you like to see this committee spend more time on? So this, you're going to rank in order of your top priorities. So when you're answering this question, you're going to select all 8, but you're going to order them in what you think would be most important, all the way down to least important. If you select one that you didn't mean to select, or you change your priorities, unfortunately, you do have to X them out and start over. But again, these are all the same types of topics you've seen in the other questions, but this is more focused on the committee itself and your meetings here. So we have our port projects again, long-term plans, the tenants and uses, transparency and communication tools. You know, for us, when we were on the tour, I was asking Jeff a lot about the tenants because they all have impacts as well on the environment, right? And we may not even realize what they're either producing or transporting and what their impact is maybe in reducing carbon in our environment, or maybe they're producing a product that is used in other energy related initiatives or environmental initiatives. And so sometimes, well, we might not think the tenants are that important, but there's 130 of them in the port. And so that's why I kind of put this in here, because for me, I think it was Jeff said that Chick-fil-A oil is being made there. And, you know, for my kids, they would love that. They're like, what? My Chick-fil-A oil is coming from the port of Stockton? I mean, Chick-fil-A may even comment on that post, right? So just fascinating when you kind of dig in to understand what's happening at the port every day, who's there. And, you know, a big opportunity for the port is the future development of the undeveloped areas and attracting the right kind of tenants that you all want to see as a community, but the port as well. Okay, looks like we have a decent response there. Good to see that traffic is toward the bottom. It seemed when I was there, everything seemed to be moving really well. Community concerns, environmental topics, tax benefits. Yep. Very, very good. Thank you. Looks like we got just about everyone there. Just a couple more. Do you find the Port Outreach Committee meetings helpful and supportive to the community? Good news there. Most find them valuable and helpful. Sometimes I think this goes back to the answer on the agenda and making sure we have the right kind of topics or presenters that are being shared at the meetings, finding ways to maximize the opportunity for all of you, but also the port itself.
I'm really glad nobody said no.
There's still time. Now you're going to tempt them.
Yeah.
I'm glad too. Okay, we'll move on from there. And just a couple more. Do you find the port? Oh, it's still on the same one. Okay. What could be improved to make the committee meetings more effective, engaging, or useful for you, for the community overall? Again, this is an open-ended question, so I'll give you a minute here to fill that in. It doesn't have to be a full sentence, just a few key words. I know it's 5 o'clock, so I'll make sure we're mindful of your time. But again, any kind of feedback, don't hesitate. This is your opportunity to share with this team anything that comes to your mind. And also, same thing, if anyone wants to jump in and verbally share, you're more than welcome to as well. Nothing, that's a good comment. Updates from multiple port departments. That's a good point. How many departments total, Jeff, do you have?
Oh, shoot. I'm guessing probably seven to
total.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, because even understanding the real estate side versus the environmental side, you have the maintenance side, the HR and admin side, all the
IT,
finances,
finance,
IT,
yeah.
huge IT,
For police.
technology, safety side, absolutely.
No, that's really helpful information.
Bring in more people from the general public to the meeting. That's really insightful too. Getting more people here and engaged. Expand the notification, same thing. Advertise them more publicly, more tenant engagement. Community centers, okay. Give a couple more minutes there in case anything else comes to mind, or another minute.
Jeff and Julia, when people sign up, you know, for contact or information and start getting, you know, like the newsletter, do they automatically get invite to the outreach committee? I know at one point it was kind of invitation only.
Yeah, it's really, no, not yet, but it still kind of is invitation only, but that is something we're going to look at throughout this process is, you know, how can we open it up to a wider audience? You know, I think everybody remembers that this came on the heels of AB 617, and there was a lot of misunderstanding, or we really wanted to focus on that group, but it's probably about time we can start opening it up to others at some point.
Bring in some more perspectives and maybe bring in some more stories. And I like the idea of the departments. Good to know that background as well. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Easy. Any other comments or feedback? That's it. This is all the questions. There's one more simple question at the end just to ask your relationship with the port. But again, feel free to jump in if there's anything else you'd like to share with us that we didn't cover today. And as I mentioned, please don't hesitate to reach out anytime. We really enjoyed coming up there and learning about the community surrounding the port and the challenges that some of you have been facing, and seeing the edible schoolyard, just some amazing projects that are taking place up there. And I just feel that the port's fortunate to have all of you involved and engaged and be a part of these meetings on a regular basis so that you can be ambassadors and share the good work that's happening and also the concerns that you may have as community members. Looks like all good information mostly. Engagement priorities, present them. I think that'd be great, right, Jeff? If maybe we come back and once we have our strategic plan and outreach efforts, come back and share those with the group as well. Get your feedback on what we're planning to do.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing, somebody at Gloria asked if we could share the results from the poll as well.
Will do, and maybe we combine once we find out more from other folks as well. We can definitely do that.
100%.
What's great about these is it captures it all. It allows us a lot of ability to analyze it and look at. And so here's just the last demographic question. How would you describe your relationship with the Port of Stockton? Again, if you're an employee or contractor, if you do business with the port, if you're a resident or a neighbor living near the Port of Stockton, you're a representative from another organization, nonprofit partner. That's interesting. A good little mix there. Oh, there we go. Jumped up a little. Couple more seconds there. And again, this isn't captured in any way. Your results are still anonymous. Don't worry about any of that. Although there wasn't really anything too negative in there, so that was good. That's really good news. Mostly positive, really good feedback. We so appreciate your time for this. Okay, it looks like just about everyone's responded there. It's not letting me go to the end. I'm not sure why. So, anyways, you have my contact information in the chat. The last screen was just a thank you again for providing your feedback to us today. We're really looking forward to working with the Port of Stockton and its team and all of you as community members. And as I mentioned, my contact information is in the chat. So if you want to email me any thoughts, give me a call, set up some time to talk one-on-one. We're open to do that as well. And I look forward to working with all of you in the next year as we roll out some really creative ideas and start to spread the good word about the Port of Stockton. So thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Nicole. We appreciate it. All right, we're getting ready to wrap up, but I did want to share our new segment is the best thing I saw at the port today. Is that what it's called now, Julia?
Yes, that is correct.
And so really cool. We just took receipt of our newest zero emission rail car mover. Really exciting that we got this through a grant. This was the part of our state grant. So we're very excited about that. This one, our other zero emission rail car mover could only pull 10 loaded rail cars and 30 empties. This one can pull up to 25 loaded rail cars, and I don't know how many empties yet, but very excited to add this new lithium ion zero emission rail car mover to our fleet. And real quick, I did there were a couple other exciting things that came up. There is somebody reaching out who wants to potentially build a hydrogen facility. He's a trucker, so we may have him visit. He bought one of the zero emission hydrogen trucks. He's looking for a place to fuel, because obviously, we've seen what's happened with the Arches program and things like that. So anyway, there's exciting information coming about potential no fueling, hydrogen fueling, as well as potential new truck plug-in sites in Stockton that we're hearing from. So and then I think that was probably it. But very excited about all this new equipment. Working with you guys. Thank you for support letters. You guys have sent those for us on exciting grant opportunities. So they are definitely paying off. So we appreciate all your help and support on that. So, and if no one has anything else, I hope you have a great evening. And we will be canceling the December meeting just because it's so close to Christmas. But we hope to see you at our December 6th holiday party and look for that. So we look forward to seeing you in the new year and hope you have a great rest of your evening. Thank you.
Hello, Jeff.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get one more thing in
Sure.
there. So I brought to the city council, an invitation to have somebody from the city to start attending the AB 617. And I was just wondering if you have reached out to the city council and the board of supervisors about if they'd be interested to attend this meeting.
Oh,
So just wanted to throw that out there.
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And thank you. You actually reminded me of the other thing I wanted to talk about. Shoot. And it's left me just as quickly. But yes, I will definitely we'll reach out. We can definitely do that and see if there is some support maybe from some of the members of the area here. Would be great. Yes. Very good. I'll remember what I had to share was really exciting too, but I will email it out if I. Oh, and I did want to, Mary Elizabeth, thank you for your comments to our board meeting. I will be responding to those very shortly too. Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yes.
I appreciate you. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Oh, the other thing, coming off that last AB 617 meeting, we had talked about the locomotives and all the funding that's available and how we haven't had anybody take advantage of that funding. Well, just this last week, CCTC came in. We had a really good talk. They've been able to make some progress there. So I don't want to promise anything yet, but it's looking much more promising that we could potentially have some new locomotives operating at the port in the not too distant future. So I will keep you updated on that, but very good things. I knew you'd be excited about that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you and have a great evening.